Breaking in just the last 30 minutes, a judge handed down a sentencing for one of the Capitol riot suspects who admitted to attacking Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. Julian Cater of Pennsylvania will go to prison for more than 6 years after he pleaded guilty to felony charges. Video shows him and George Tanios of West Virginia, who pleaded to misdemeanors, attacking Sicknick. The 42-year-old officer died the next day after suffering a series of strokes. Tributes poured in to honor him. Investigative reporter Jordan Fisher is live outside the federal courthouse in the district. And Jordan, we've heard the courtroom was full for this hearing, as I can imagine. Who came to watch today, and what was the mood like there?
That's right. We saw dozens of United States Capitol Police officers come to the courthouse today. They filled the main courtroom. They filled a good portion of an overflow courtroom. And what they wanted to see was not only the judge's sentence today, but the statements that Officer Sicknick's family made. 5 members of his family, his mother, 2 of his brothers, his sister-in-law Nicole, and his longtime partner Sandra Garza, all made statements, powerful, raw, emotional. His brothers talked about watching their parents age a decade in the last 2 years. And his sister-in-law Nicole talked about how important this family had been to her. She married into this family, how they sort of saved her almost. And she told Julian Cater today in court that he had destroyed the heart of this family that she had come to love so much.
And I understand that Julian Cater also gave a statement to the judge. What did he have to say today?
Yeah, Mr. Cater did give a brief written statement today. He expressed how long and agonizing and humbling his more than 680 days in pretrial detention have been here at the D.C. jail. He said that he has prayed and prayed and prayed for the people affected by the Capitol riot. He said that the families and the officers shouldn't have had to go through that, but he also didn't mention Officer Sicknick or Officer Carolyn Wren, another officer who pleaded guilty to assaulting, by name. The Judge Hogan called him out on that and said he didn't think he'd really expressed remorse. He said he thought it felt very self-centered. Now, Mr. Cater did come back and say that the reason he didn't do that is because he's now facing a civil suit accusing him of wrongfully contributing to Officer Sicknick's death.
And sentenced to 80 months in prison. How does his sentence compare to others that we've seen?
So that's one of the longest sentences we've seen to date. The longest so far is 10 years. That was a former NYPD officer who assaulted a police officer. But Mr. Cater is going to be serving, just 7 months less than Guy Reffitt, who our viewers may recall was the first Capitol riot defendant to go to trial. This is even longer than many of the other assault sentences we've seen, and part of that is because Julian Cater was accused of assaulting at least 3 different officers. He pleaded guilty to assaulting 2 of them. Of course, one of them was Officer Sicknick, who did go on to die a day later of natural causes. So a very significant prison sentence, although he will receive credit for the 2 years that he's already served.
And I can imagine an emotional day for Sicknick's family. Thank you, Jordan, so much for being there.